Hola, bienvenidos al podcast de C clauses with simple tenses. I'm Senora Stanius, and in this podcast we will be talking about C, if clauses, and our simple tenses. Be sure you have your grammar packet with you, that you are taking notes, stopping as needed to write down examples and any questions you might have. We're going to be using these C clauses with different simple tenses to express either hypothesis in the present or for habitual conditions and actions in the past. You should be able to use these C clauses in both your written and spoken Spanish. Si or if clauses express a condition or event upon which another condition or event depends. So our C clauses are often hypothetical statements or situations, and of course they have to have a subordinate clause because that is your C clause. And if there's a subordinate clause, there has to be a main clause. And that would be our result clause. The C clause may be the first or second clause in a sentence, and that if it is the first clause, then there has to be a comma. Here's an example. Si tienes tiempo, ven con nosotros. Iré con ustedes si no trabajo. And notice in the second, you don't need the comma because our C clause is the second clause. In a hypothetical statement about possible or probable future events, then the C clause uses the present indicative. The result clause may use the present indicative, the future indicative, ir, a, an infinitive, or a command. And I've given you examples of each of these. So, si salgo temprano del trabajo, voy al cine con Andrés. Si usted no mejora su currículum, nunca conseguirá empleo. Si la jefa me pregunta, no le voy a mentir. Si hay algún problema, háganos saber de inmediato. Now we can also use these C clauses to talk about hypothetical statements in the present. In a hypothetical statement about improbable or contrary to fact present situations, the C clause uses the past subjunctive. Remember to look at that in our last podcast. And then the result clause will use the conditional tense. A few examples. Si ustedes no fueran tan incapaces, ya lo tendrían listo. Si sacaras un préstamo a largo plazo, pagarías menos por mes. Si no estuviera tan cansada, saldría a cenar contigo. And finally, we're looking at habitual conditions and actions in the past, in statements that express habitual past actions that are not contrary to fact. Both the C clause and the result clause use the imperfect. And again, some examples of that. Si Milena tenía tiempo libre, siempre iba a la playa. Si mi papá salía de viaje de negocios, siempre me traía un regalito. This ends this podcast about C clauses with simple tenses. Make sure you complete the Google form that you'll find below this and write any questions you may have. Gracias y hasta mañana.